Hi, is that working now? Tell me if you can hear me now. Somehow I think the mute might have been hit on the mic, which has never happened before. Okay. Shoot. All right. Well, I'm going to start all over again. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you told me. I'm Marie Elizabeth Molly, and today we're talking about allowing yourself to be led by passion. And I started off by saying it can be hard to know what you're even passionate about right off the bat, because there are so many voices from our families, from education, from society, from religion, if we've grown up with a religious background, that tell us what we're supposed to care about, what we're supposed to be passionate about, what we're supposed to want. And so we're going to be talking about 3 Ds today, the 3 Ds of allowing yourself to be led by passion. And the first D is to decide. It begins with a decision. And the decision is to A, be willing to get to know yourself at a deeper level so you know what you're really passionate about. And B, to give yourself permission to follow those passions, whether they conform to what your family and society and everybody else wants for you or not. That's a decision you got to make. It's kind of like opening Pandora's box, right? When you open Pandora's box of your own desire, if you're not clear about giving yourself permission to possibly disrupt your life, might be better not to open it. But if you want to really connect with what you're truly passionate about and live a life that is led by that, some change in how you're living might become clear that you want to make. It might become necessary. If you're here watching live, let me know. And if you're watching the replay, I'd love to know that too. And one of the things I asked for when my sound was off was what typically gets in the way for you of allowing yourself to be led by your desires. Some typical things I hear are, I don't want to disrupt my life, or, what if I find out that I no longer want to be married, or something like that? What if I find out that the life I'm living isn't right for me? And, I also hear some version of, who am I, to change up my life? I want to be a good girl, that kind of thing. Like, I don't want to abandon my family. Like, what if my passion leads me away from my family? That can be terrifying, right? So I'm curious, if you're watching this later or now, I'd love to know in the comments what typically comes up for you when you think about allowing yourself to be led by passion. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's a big green light for you, but maybe not. It might not be, and that's okay. So to recap so far, the first D of allowing yourself to be led by passion is to decide. It begins with a decision to discover what you want, discover what you're passionate about, and to allow yourself to choose that. Now, there's ways to choose it that are artful, etc. I'm not talking about a bull in a china shop here. I'm talking about just, do you have enough permission for yourself to choose according to what you're passionate about? And I recognize that also there are real world pressures on us to pay rent and to do, to be there for our families and to take care of our loved ones. We have contracts with people in our lives to be there. And so I'm not advocating for some kind of selfish wreckage situation. However, I am advocating for the permission to at least discern what your passion is. And that is the second D, discern. The first D is decide. Decide that you want to open yourself more deeply to know yourself more deeply. And the second D is to discern. Discern which of your desires, which of the things that you're passionate about do you want to actually pursue? Because we don't necessarily go after every single thing we're passionate about, especially if we have agreements with people that going after that passion would break. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend either renegotiating the agreement or sticking to your agreement. But that doesn't mean allowing yourself, that you can't allow yourself to know what you want, or even feel a desire, or check in with what you're passionate about. I think that's a spot that we get confused. Like, we don't even want to open the door to the possibility of feeling a passionate desire for something, or for some experience, or to go somewhere, whatever it is. We often don't even allow ourselves to feel that. We keep it so buried, so deep down, because we're afraid of what would happen if we actually let ourselves feel that. And what I'm advocating for instead is full permission to feel the range of what you want. And then, second D, discern. Discern which of the things you're passionate about you want to actually pursue. This is beautiful. My passion is to be creative in the outdoor space. I love that. And it's great because you're actually taking action toward that passion, which is the third D that I wanted to talk about today, is do. So once you decide that you give yourself permission to know what you're passionate about, and to allow yourself to be led by that, and you've discerned which of your passions you want to pursue, which you want to carry forward, which you want to expand, then the third step is to take the actions that move toward that passion. So in the example here of Mary Carroll, her passion is to be creative in outdoor space. And I know that she's been gardening, and she's been taking different classes around arranging plants in beautiful ways and things like that. So that's a passion that and I know she volunteers. I believe it's at a botanical center garden type space. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it's like she is clearly taking steps. She is taking actions that lead her toward her passion. That's what I'm talking about. Now, in intimate relationship, it can get tricky sometimes, because sometimes the passions that show up for us don't necessarily fit the container of our relationships. For example, you get attracted to somebody when you're out somewhere, and it's not part of your relationship agreement that you get to pursue that attraction. So then you have a conundrum. But it doesn't mean that the attraction is bad, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong for feeling attracted to somebody. Attraction is attraction. It's enlivening. It's exciting. It's juicy. It feels delicious. And everything comes in the discern and the do with that one, right? So discerning, oh, is this a good idea for me to pursue this attraction right now? Well, if it's not in agreement with the agreements I have with my partner, probably not. Unless you're ready to confront that in your relationship, or end the relationship, or have some massive disruption in your relationship, probably not worth pursuing the attraction, right? However, the attraction might be a sign for you that, oh, there's a conversation that needs to be had here. Oh, maybe there's an agreement I do want to renegotiate in this relationship. Maybe there's something about our sex life at home that needs to shift so that my eyes aren't wandering. It could be any number of things. And so the reason I wanted to have this conversation is I think passion and desire get a bad rep, or get blamed for a lot of shenanigans, when it's not desire's fault. It's not the attraction's fault. It's not your passion's fault. There's nothing wrong. Everything lies in what do we discern and what do we do. And that's where the nuance comes in. And that's where most of our attention needs to be. That's beautiful. She says, I'm beginning more volunteer work at the botanical garden. That's great. So I'd love to know if you're watching the replay or you're live with us, how's this landing so far? Do you have any questions? I'd love to pop back in and answer questions later if you watch the replay and want to drop a question about a specific situation. I would love to break it down. But in the meantime, I'm going to recap that it can be challenging. We can often be our own worst enemies around allowing ourselves to be led by our passion. There are so many voices that come in from family, society, education, religion that tell us we're supposed to be a certain way, and to want different than what others want for us is a problem, right? That's what we're taught, that it's wrong. And I'm here to say that's not true. And you got to learn how to trust yourself and trust your passion and your desire to guide you. Because when you do that, you can actually lead yourself into a life that is rich and fulfilling and brings you huge satisfaction, much more satisfaction than when you exist in a cage of society's design. That said, there are three important things about allowing yourself to be led by passion that you have to keep in mind and follow. The first is to decide. You got to decide that you're willing to A, get to know what your passions really are, independent of what others want for you, and B, decide that you want to be led by them, that you're willing to actually go in the direction of these passions. The second D is to discern. Once you're clear on what you're passionate about, you got to discern, is this a passion I want to pursue or not? I'm passionate about a ton of things. I'm a super passionate person. Do I follow every thread? No, I don't have space to follow every thread that I'm passionate about in my life, but I allow myself to be passionate about a lot of things and excited to learn about a lot of things. And I'm choosy about which things I do when, so that I don't burn myself out. And the third D, once you've decided that you're willing to know what you're truly passionate about and design your life around that, second is discerning what you're going to act on and what you're just going to let be there as a beautiful, shiny, lovely passion that you're not going to do anything about. And then the third is do, is to take action in the rest of your, in the direction of your desires. Because desire, like passion and desire and dreams and all of that, they all stay in the imaginal realm until we start to take action toward them. So it's great if you know what you're passionate about. That's super exciting. And then if you never take action toward it, how sad is that? You know, again, toward one that you've discerned that you want to take action toward. That's the key. So there's a reason it goes decide, discern, and then do. Because if you just do willy-nilly without discerning which passions are worth pursuing, you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to exhaust yourself and be spread too thin. But if you discern which ones, after you've decided, you discern which ones are worth pursuing, and then you take actions toward it, that's how you build a life that is beautiful and truly yours and truly fulfilling and exciting. I think you didn't hear my introduction. I'm Marie Elizabeth Molly. I help women build lives that are passion-led, that are where they get to create a life and a love and relationships and an environment that lifts them up, that's beautiful to them, that turns them on, that has them living on the edge of satisfaction and growth and beauty and love and excitement. So to that end, coming up in May, I have a retreat here in Mexico at our home here. That's a passion body activation retreat, specifically around the vibes of sexy and wealthy. And so if activating your passion body, which is this part of you that knows what you actually want, not what everybody else has told you to want, not what you think is appropriate, but what you actually want. If you want to activate a deeper connection to that, let's talk. Let's talk about coming to my retreat. There are 3 spots left. I know they're going to go fast. So if this is appealing to you, let's have a conversation soonish. And thank you so much for watching. So glad you're here. And I'll be back again with more cool stuff. So until that time, remember that a great relationship starts with you, including your relationship with yourself. Have a good day.